Hello, folks. I'm down here at the river again after, what's it been? Well, I was here last week to mow the lawn and check the water. But other than that, it's been probably 3 or 4 weeks since I was able to do any work. So today we are here in the bedroom to do some measuring. Probably not installation of, but measuring for the drain pipes that go underneath this bedroom. And I showed them in the last video, but here. Basically, the 3-inch pipe is going to come down in this corner and then across and then along here and pick up a 2-inch drain that's coming from the vanity upstairs and then run toward the street and join up with the 3-inch drain going out to the septic tank. That's the only, I think that's, oh no, and then there's another drain that connects the washer from the upstairs, but that's in a different part of the house. So this part is just for 3-inch drain that joins basically the upstairs toilet to the main drain going out. Anyway, one reason I always do stop action or what do you call it? I don't know. The reason I always have my camera on frame lapse mode is because I would like to listen to music and I don't want to get pegged for playing music on my videos. So I'll play music and have the frame lapse going. And if I feel like it's okay to not have music playing and I want to demonstrate something specifically, then I'll do live, but or real time. Anyway, thanks. Looking in more detail at the structure underneath the bedroom. This right here is the bedroom. Now all the challenges I'm having with the engineer and the inspection and how to integrate the new piers that are here and this pier here and that pier there with the existing structure is all because of invalid assumptions made by the first engineer. For example, this is not a crawl space. These are not existing beams. What exists here is a concrete pad with proper footers and foundation that go all the way around here to here to here. So basically, this is the original exterior wall of the house facing the river. And in 95, they built proper foundation here, around here and here, 24 inches deep at least, below frost line. And then they also put a foundation across here. and filled in this with a concrete pad whose level is, the top of the concrete pad is level with the top of the block. Now the assumption was that this was all cross space, and the only cross space is here and here. Now notice the joists are all running here parallel to the river, which is correct. This is incorrect, and I'll show you why. All right, let's descend into the moisture zone and take a look at the existing structure under here. Oh my goodness. All right. This is the wall. This is perpendicular to the street and the river. This is facing northwest. So we go over here and we have an opening in the foundation here. Nothing supporting that sill plate. And we go over here. And we have a pseudo dry stack cinder block wall here. You know, you can see all those blocks are dry stacked. But the key thing is that this is the end of a joist. And so is that. So from this wall here, which I'm guessing is around the wall of the laundry room, going toward the street, the joists are going perpendicular to the street. Now, the structure in here, I'm less concerned about the engineer not seeing this because he did make the drawings indicate that there's a foundation here. And he couldn't see the foundation down there unless he actually looked through the vents, which were open, and right here. So he could have looked carefully to see that there was foundation down there. But the space on the other side of this dry stack wall is completely accessible from the outside. So that's a fail on their part that they didn't even mark that. The other challenge here, if you're noticing, is that there's nothing for those joists to rest on except this dry stack wall. Which really stinks because I wanted to remove some of these blocks to run the pipe through. So I'm going to have to drill, I think. I'm going to have to drill a big hole through these blocks to run the pipe. Otherwise, I can run the pipe right on this corner. The only problem is that I've got a 16-foot run, and the pipe has to slope 1/8 of an inch per foot, and so that's down about a foot down. So subtract 4 inches because it's a 3-inch pipe. So I've got 8 inches of fall in 16 feet, which is 1/2 an inch per foot, which is plenty if I come from the bottom of the joist at the river end to here. So anyway, long and short of it is, the pipe's going to go through that hole. I'm going to leave those blocks as they are. And note that the joists are running perpendicular to the street on that side. Anyway, that's just kind of interesting. That'll affect how I build that wall, where the access to the crawl space is. I'll have to rebuild that wall to support the joist ends. Or, actually, better option is just to reframe that floor and run the joists as they're drawn and call it done. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm dealing with when you discover stuff that's not compliant with what the engineer drew. So I'm back in the hole. I got the pipes through. These are 4 pipes for the drain, and the drain for the washer and dryer will come down here and come down and join this way into the 3-inch pipe. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the county to, sorry for the focus, to give me some feedback on the changed drawing, the routing of the pipes, I'm going to make some sawhorses. So I did some poking around in the ceiling and verified that indeed these joists are on 16-inch center. The engineer figured they were 24-inch center, probably because over in this area where the air conditioning is, it may be 24-inch there. And I think he just decided that it would be 24-inch everywhere without actually measuring with any way. So if I measure with a laser from the wall this way, 20 feet, we get to where the washer is. So the joist is there, and the washer would be sitting from there to about there, and that's another 16-inch joist. So if I propagate that over to here, the washer drain can go through the joists here to that wall to the left of the fire detector, and then down and into the crawl space. All right, folks, so I'm going to be building some sawhorses. The end of each sawhorse looks something like this. This idea I got from Wooden Boat School, but it's modified. So all the sawhorses will stack. So I'm making 6. 2 of them that are 2 feet tall, 2 of them that are 3 feet, and 2 that are 4 feet. And they're going to get progressively wider so that they can all stack on top of each other. So it's just one stack of 6 sawhorses. And here I'm computing so there's 2 layers. There's a top, I'm calling it a top ridge and a bottom ridge. So they sandwich together to form a 1.5-inch thick, cross beam. So here I'm figuring out the difference in width between the top and the bottom, and it happens to be pretty clean. If this is 10 degrees off of vertical, then this board is 1.25 inches wider than this board, which kind of makes sense because these are 3/4 of an inch. So the difference in width is going to be on the order of 1.5 inches because these are 3/4 of an inch thick. But it's shy of 1/8 of an inch here. And then, so this Y here is the difference in width, which is about 5/8. So then I made a little table, basically a parts list of each of the 2 pairs as they get higher and wider. And so each successive sawhorse is 2 inches longer than the previous one, so that they'll stack on each other, and there'll be a little bit of play so they don't aren't so hard to get together and get apart. Anyway, so I'm going to get some practice here doing some more precise cutting than a carpenter is normally used to when they're framing a wall. But we'll see how these angles and these distances work out so that my sawhorses are the right height and length and that they actually do sandwich together. I got 2 of them put together. The other 4 parts are there. These are the 3-footers. And what's nice about this is that there's about 5 inches from the top of the lower one to the top of the upper one. Had it been 6, that would have been perfect because the first one is 2, the second one is 2, which would go up to 2 inches, 6 inches, and then this is 3. Then this would have been 3, 6, and then 4 and 4, 6. So actually, this worked out pretty well, and as a matter of measurement here, this sawhorse was intended to be 3 feet tall. And sorry you can't see that, but pretty darn close. So I think my measurements did all right. Anyway, that's it for this week. It's raining like heck right now. And we're supposed to be getting the potential of a tropical storm this week. Maybe hitting North Carolina on Wednesday. Or swiping by it, whatever. So anyway, I might come down then, just for the fun of it, because I love being down here in a hurricane. Anyway, you know, not so much progress made, but I did accomplish a few things, and getting these sawhorses going has been a something I've wanted to do for a while. I just didn't feel motivated. So today I felt motivated. Anyway, Take it easy, folks.